Ladies and gentlemen, host of Coach, which is a podcast with Bill Belichick. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm on my way to see you tomorrow. I'll be out there waving you on. I'm on my way to Tuscaloosa to be with you tomorrow.
Oh,
so, I'm going to be there.
Yeah. What are you doing? You're driving? We got Cantor joining at 2:05. He's going to break it all down. Are you driving down there? How are you getting there?
Driving. I'm in the rain in somewhere outside of Knoxville. I don't know. My wife's driving, so I'm in the back seat with my friends, and we're all going to make a party out of it. We're all coming down. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Are you chasing the storm right now? Can you feel it? You're driving
We're right in the middle of it. We're right in the middle of it. We got all this rain. We were just in Nashville, North Carolina. They were getting it. So, yeah, we'll be there tonight. We'll be there. We'll pave the way for you, Pat. Don't worry.
Who's with you in the back? Anybody sweet? I heard there's a cowboy hat potentially back here.
Yeah, there's a cowboy hat back here. It's my man Bill Berman. He's with me. His daughter goes to Alabama, and then his wife's in the front seat. We're getting chauffeured. The two highest priced chauffeurs in America right here.
Hey, well, you deserve it. Hey, boys, enjoy it. Cowboy hat on in car, incredibly uncomfortable. But if you're heading down to Bama, have a good one. You know, that's what you got to do.
I tried to get him to buy one of those big belts that you have on, but maybe that'll be the next birthday gift.
Yeah, most people have to earn those things, but you can just go to a good store and buy a good one. Yeah, they're all very available. Mm-hmm. The bigger, the better. You know that title.
Amen.
Yeah, and it does dig into body.
Sure.
So about 2.5 hours into said show, that thing is about, I'm about done with it.
It's on you now.
Yeah, about done with it. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about tonight, shall we, Paisan? We just broke down a lot of different things here. The Cowboys favored by 6 on ESPN Bet, 5.5 everywhere else. Vibes seemingly very high out of the New York Giants camp. And then for the Dallas Cowboys, seemingly like we stink, we're soft. That's like the vibes out of Dallas. 6-point favorites on the road. Seems interesting to me. How do you feel about the line, and what are you looking forward to this evening?
Well, I heard you guys talking about the problem the Cowboys had. Look, here's the Cowboys' problem. It was last year. They just masked it better. They were up 124 points in the first half, so nobody could really run the ball on them in the second half. In the 5 losses, every team that they lost to ran the ball for over 120 yards. The only game that the Lions ran the ball for 130 against them but lost because of we know those calls. So this Cowboy run defense hasn't been good going back to last year. They've just been able to mask it. They're a nickel defense that has to rush the passer. They have to play from in front. This year, they haven't been able to do that. They've gotten behind. And so for the Cowboys tonight, they've got to start fast against a secondary that's not very good of the Giants. They got to protect the quarterback, and they got to throw it, and they got to make Danny Dimes play quarterback. They got to make him play from behind him. I think that's the key. And for the Giants, look, the Giants pass rush won the game last week. But here's the reality of that game. In the fourth quarter, the Giants offense only got 2 first downs against Cleveland. They didn't score any points. The Giants all year long have only scored 9 points in the second half. 9 points in the second half total. So they're going to have to find some offense in the second half to get going. For me, I think ultimately it comes down to if the Cowboys play from in front, the Giants will have a hard time tonight.
Okay, Lombo, it sounds like you're leaning one particular way. Let me bring some more stats for you to chit-chat about that Giants offense and quarterback, more specifically Daniel Jones. He's 1-13 in his starts for the Giants in night games. The last 4 have been 18-plus point losses. So, not even kind of close. Do we feel like it's a new Danny Dimes, though, with Daboll back on the call, Malik Neighbors doing his thing, Singletary doing his thing, the potential operation against the Cowboys defense can't stop the run? Is this a night where Danny Dimes can really thrive, you think? And is that going to – are we reversing all of this in 1 week, one big win for Danny Dimes?
Well, you mentioned Zimmer. I think for Danny Dimes, he's got to play Canadian football tonight. So what does that mean? That means he's got to get first downs and 2 downs. Because if he gets involved in Zimmer's third down defense, even as bad as Dallas has played this year defensively, they're really good on third down. They just haven't forced teams to get to third down. And that's where Danny Dimes struggles. When he has to play fast on third down, make really quick decisions, all of a sudden the pressure breaks down. So they've got to run the football. They got to control the clock, win the time of possession, and make Dallas play from behind. And Dallas wants to rush. They want to get Parsons on Illuminor over at right tackle. They want to create matchups for their defense. And Danny Dimes has got to be able to, if he throws the ball more than 25 times, they won't win the game. And if he's in 14 or more third downs, they won't win the game. They've got to play Canadian football, get first downs and 2 downs, and keep that game going and stay out of Zimmer, because Zimmer can create a lot of problems for them on third down.
Yeah, and maybe that'll start happening for that Dallas Cowboys defense with Zimmer at the helm. I think Cowboys fans are wishing for that. It would be cool if we could just take a 20-yard Canadian football.
Oh, yeah.
Sprint.
Right. Imagine Tyreek Hill getting a chance to go
my God.
all the way back and then time up the thing going for it. That would be
Malik Neighbors tonight.
Oh my God.
sick.
That'd be CeeDee Lamb. We should maybe. Hey, Raj.
Something to think about.
Hey, let's get the 30-yard running starts.
Why not?
on the offense. We once called Canadian football state fair football because we think it's cool. We enjoy it. We enjoy state fairs. Boy, they took massive offense to that. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Like a lot of.
Oh, yeah.
They were really coming after me.
Never been to a state fair, that's why.
Yeah, they don't understand how awesome state fairs are.
The first two
Shut up.
games-
Hold on one second. Lombo, you're in the middle of a minivan in the middle of a storm. Hurricane. Sorry, in the middle of a hurricane. And you just pulled what Ryan Nielsen's stats were last year for the Atlanta Falcons. Now he's at the Jacksonville.
a machine.
Absolute machine. That Berman guy that's next to you with the cowboy hat's got to be like, Jesus Christ, I had no idea. I was in
No,
the
he
car
doesn't
with
think
us.
I know anything about football. He won't even listen to me on his fantasy team. He made a trade last night and didn't even talk to me about it. He just goes off on his own. He doesn't think I know
What
anything.
was the trade? What was the trade?
It's all good. He traded Likely and Drake London for Bijan Robinson. You know, I'm not a bit.
That's not terrible.
It's not a terrible trade.
Hey, underneath that cowboy hat, we got a
They
guy
think he
named.
made a great trade. Yeah, they think he made a great trade. So, but he's got to come back. He's got to win it. He hasn't won the league in 3 years. So
Let me tell you about the fantasy team that I own but do not operate. Okay, I have a general manager. I have a general manager who's doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Hey, Colin, way to go this year.
Keep it going.
We're the highest scoring 1 and 2 team in the league.
Sure.
By far.
Is what we ran into a couple 150s.
Yeah, we're actually
That's
I
tough.
believe we're the 4th highest scoring team overall out of 12.
Yeah, and what are you supposed to do? We're trying to score. We're not trying to score.
Cape Cod Salt and Vinny's. If you're kind of just getting into the Salt and
I'm
Vinny
getting
game
into it right now, yeah.
Get
Kinda
some,
watching it.
Get some Cape Cod Vinny's.
I'm a Pringles Salt and Vinny guy. They are very good.
I did have a Pringles run in my time. The pizza Pringles, so good.
Yeah.
And they were right. Once you popped,
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to
you
stop.
could never stop.
And you know exactly how many you're getting when it comes to
The tennis ball container thing, I know the shape of the chip and the pop is a part of the entire thing.
Right.
And because it's solid, you don't get crunched up Pringles and things like that. It wasn't, you had to drink that.
You did.
Yeah, by
You
the
had to
end.
drink those chips. You always did if you couldn't get your hands in there. So that was the only thing I didn't necessarily love, especially if they had little daggers.
Yeah.
You know, and this thing split in half at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they should flip it upside down, probably.
Oh, double-sided.
Yeah, open it from the bottom as
Maybe
well.
you got to the bottom, you know, so that it isn't just a pop thing.
Sure.
Once you crack,
Once you crack.
throw it back.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Hold on.
Anyway, salt and vinegar, very good chips. We need to figure out, you're trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. Gonna try and reach out to a few people and see if we can get a hook.
I haven't had a Guinness since we were over there. I don't know if I
Wonder why.
I haven't split the G.
well, I had a lot of them over there, is what you're saying, but I never stopped liking the taste of it when I was there. It was so good. Does it taste?
Tastes
I think
better.
in my head, I'm like, I don't want to mess with it.
Isn't that
because
heavy?
No, it's actually not.
Probably break your stomach.
It's phenomenal. I don't know how they figured it out. It's actually not that like, it's like very good
looks
for you.
like a heavy.
Not good for you, but compared to other,
You like chocolate milk?
it's not like that.
It's not
No,
as
it's
thick
not.
as chocolate.
It's not as thick. That's the thing about it.
It
is-
just looks like it is.
yeah, it has like, it's glorious.
Very good.
Truly.
And Mahans have their own.
Give
Yeah,
you a good
and
buzz.
theirs is just as good.
But good buzz. Yeah, I mean, you have 27, 28 of them.
Yeah, they're
29.
good.
They can really get
Probably
you
got a
going.
30.
good buzz.
They can get you going pretty good. It's down, ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champ, Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Kurt, did you hear what Devontae just said there? And what are your thoughts on
I
it
did.
as the state of the NFL currently?
Well, I mean, I think every situation is different. I am a firm believer that when you have new coordinators and you're asked to do things differently, that it takes time. You know, I was always a believer that, you know, when you got into a new system offensively, maybe AJ can talk about defensively, but offensively, for me, it took about 12 months to really fully understand and be able to react to the new offense. And, you know, I've always used kind of the analogy of learning a new language. So when you go to learn a new language and you learn, you know, a word in a new language, in the beginning stages, what happens is you revert back to your common language. So if it's Spanish and somebody says hola, you think in your head, oh, that's hello. It doesn't automatically, you know, go to, oh, that means hello. Like that's just a natural reaction. You translate it back. And so you're playing or thinking slower. You know, even to this day, when I watch a play, you know, just when I'm watching film, I revert back to the language that we used with the greatest show on turf. And that wasn't even the last place that I was, but back, in the original stages, I just see things and think of things through that language. So everything becomes a translation. So when you come into a new offense and you'll watch film and you'll go, oh, that's a play that everybody runs. This quarterback has run this in all 4 places that he's been. But the nuance or what a coach wants you to do or the technique by which receivers run routes can all change, on top of the fact that you're having to think about the play as opposed to when you were in the first place. Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly who I'm reading. I know exactly where my eyes need to go. So that process of learning and being able to react, to be able to have somebody call a formation and then visualize that formation right off the bat, or a play and you know exactly what everybody's doing. That's what you want to get to, but it's hard in the early stages. And, up until recently, there was very few really good quarterbacks that went from one place to another and had great success. And a lot of it was because you get so familiar and comfortable in your setting and what you're doing and what they're asking you to do in an offense that when you have to go and change and there is those differences, it's hard to excel at the same level. Now, we've seen that change with, Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford did it. And we've seen it change a little bit, recently. But that to me is one of the challenges when you go from one place to another. Even though you're a really good quarterback, it's seeing and understanding the nuances of the new offense the same way you did the old offense.
Yeah, and Matt Ryan coming to Indianapolis didn't work. I don't think he ever fully grasped the offense. And I think you hear people say, like, we used to call it or we called it this, and then they have to learn the next one. Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, obviously down there in Tampa, it wasn't until Bruce and them decided, like, okay, yeah, we'll do Tom's. We'll do Tom's offense. Did they really start to have success? Peyton gets to Denver, and they say, hey, what do you want to do on the offensive side of the ball? It's like that is seemingly what has happened in a couple different places. And then, with offense coordinators changing so quickly these days, there's obviously, you talked about the greatest show on turf. We got a stat from Hembo earlier today. Do you know you have like 3 of the top offenses in the history of the NFL? Like this is, can you lower the, So in the top 15, you have 3 of the greatest offenses that have ever taken place. Kurt, did you know this stat that Hembo sent over? It was literally middle of the show last hour. He said, hey, if you're having Kurt Warner on today, he actually was quarterback of like 3 of the most historically great offenses in the history of the NFL. That's phenomenal in a short period of time.
Yeah. We do, no doubt. But I mean, I would always argue that I think, our offense was the greatest offense the league has ever seen.
Well,
and,
I would say that.
And it speaks to the idea that, we're on there 3 times, not just one season, because you could argue, Peyton's season in Denver or Tom, one of his seasons could maybe be the greatest season that we've seen. But to put it together for 3 straight years the way that we did, I don't know if there's ever been an offense that has been that good. And obviously we were filled with Hall of Famers and great players on top of a system that fit what all of us do. And I think that's kind of what we're speaking to, is the idea of getting a system that fits your players. I had the same situation when I went to Arizona, and it took some time to be able to shape the offense around A, who we were as a team, but B, who I was as a quarterback. And so, you want to play to the strengths of your quarterback and call plays the way your quarterback sees the game. And so it takes time to be able to do that. And, maybe to what, Devontae was saying is that, okay, defenses may be ahead right now as all these offenses are trying to fit into the new scheme, and new guys like Kirk Cousins are trying to fit into what they're doing in Atlanta and that type of stuff. And the hope is somewhere sooner rather than later, we start to click, we start to get comfortable, and now we can see what this offense or this player can be in their new situation.
Yeah, and Chuck Pagano ran some clips earlier. Seems like the defenses have a little bit of some shit going on too with this whole show pressure, drop out, who's going to not being able to figure it out maybe as quickly as at the end of the year they're hoping to. So it's good joust going on between the two. Go ahead, AJ. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Kurt. Go ahead. No,
I was just going to say, with that, what Coach is talking about, I agree. But the biggest thing is like third down situations. Staying out of tough third down situations where teams can really throw that stuff at you, because that stuff is hard. 8 guys up, You don't know if they're all coming. You don't know if they're popping out, what coverage they're playing back behind it. And then I would throw out something else is that I think offenses really struggle with the quick, hot passing game. When teams are bringing pressure, having quick answers for their quarterback to be able to say, okay, you want to bring 8 up, I'm going to have something where it's like, boom, ball's out of my hands. Now you got 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. I just beat you with the throw, and you're rallying to make that play on the back end. Not enough teams have those answers, and so it's feeding into these defenses being allowed to do all this crazy stuff without us being able to counter that with the quick throws and trying to force them out of it.